Mic test, mic test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic test, mic test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic test, mic test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic test, mic test. Sound okay, everybody? Don't go anywhere, you guys. I see you out there. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Looking good. Hey, let me know you guys are there. Say hi, introduce yourselves. That's always great. Appreciate it. There we go. Charlotte, hi. Hello, Sabrina. Good to see you. Hey, Steve. Alex from BCN. All right. Good to see you. Appreciate what you guys are doing over there at Bluegrass Care Navigators. We did a group over there at Bluegrass Care Navigators. If you have a business that would like to do one of these virtually, we're doing that now, so we can do them like this for your business. Beth, good to see you. Hey, if y'all know how to do a watch party, please click. Hey, David, please click share so you can invite people in on this. Share, watch party. Some of you already know how to do that. Give it a try. We'll bring some more of our friends in here. I really appreciate it. Hey, Linda. Good to see you. Good Friday to you. Whenever I cough or anybody coughs, everybody's always nervous. They say it won't go through microphones like this, so it should be safe. And I ain't got nothing. A little bit of allergies. Oh, hello, Danita. Another BCN person. Well, you guys ready? Let's jump right in. Healthy at home. Right there's how I like it. Girl, I almost bit you. Have you gained weight? Hi, Hannah. Good to see you. Have you gained weight? So, a lot of us are not able to stay on the schedule that we used to be on. So, we're having to make some adjustments, right? And those adjustments may bring some stress that we're not used to. And we eat. We tend to eat when we're stressed. That is not unusual at all. Just to make it another day, we are doing some things that maybe are a little bit out of the ordinary, right? And this girl here, oh, well, this little fella, he said, this is me after I ate all my quarantine snacks in one night. Anybody feel like that? And this girl said, when you're at work and you ate your lunch for breakfast, now you ain't got no lunch for lunch. I had a client of mine email me, and she said, Joe, how am I supposed to lose weight? Hey, Brittany. She said, how am I supposed to lose weight? I'm working 16-hour days. Okay, so she's really feeling it. She's under a lot of stress. How am I supposed to lose weight? What is she telling me? She's telling me that eating at work is part of how she gets through work. For most people, this is difficult. It's always difficult. And now, with the quarantine and all this trial that's going on, that's happening, everything's different. Now it's really, really hard. That's why we're doing this. The greater the stress, the more we feel justified to eat in order to cope. Guys, I'm Trainer Joe. Thank you for joining us on this Healthy at Home Igniter. Most people struggle with weight loss. I walk you through a process that teaches you how to look at food and weight loss in a whole new way so you can lose weight and keep it off. I'm going to give you a really good taste of this process in the next 30 minutes or so by focusing on two things, the practical and the philosophical. We're going to do the philosophical or the mindset part first, and then we're going to hit on some very practical things that I think you'll enjoy and be helped by. Guys, you're not suddenly going to get really good at this just because we're at home and you're being forced to do things differently. And you're not suddenly going to be really bad at it. Okay, there are people that struggle with eating and their weight, and they're just bringing that into this different world. And they've lost some of their parameters. They've lost some of their structure, so it's more difficult. But people that were already doing well at this, they'll probably continue to do well with it. Okay, I would be somebody that I've got a real good sense for this, and I'm not going to gain weight even during quarantine because of the way I do things. If I was already struggling, I would just struggle more during quarantine. So first is going to be the philosophical, the mindset. Then we're going to do the practical. The philosophy part of this, we just have a way of thinking. We just have our way of thinking, which leads to, hey Megan, which leads to our way of doing. What do you think about being overweight? What do you think about overeating? How do you feel about healthy eating? How would you describe healthy eating? Hey, Tom and Mary Hooker, good to see you guys in Florida. How do you feel about your relationship with food? Your belief will be the ultimate factor in determining your behavior and your weight. Not your metabolism, not your past, not your family, not your history. Your belief will be the ultimate factor in determining your behavior and your weight. Maybe you need three beers just to feel normal. Or I don't feel right till I've had my first cigarette. Or I need a cup of coffee. Or I need 5 donuts. We have our way of thinking about it, how we process it. How's yours working for you? If it brings pleasure, why wouldn't we do it? Why wouldn't we eat as long as we're enjoying it? Why ever stop? there's a cost, right? At what weight are you happy? Is there a weight where you're happy? Something that I want you to remember. When people tell me they struggle, they can't do it, remember this. When the stakes are high enough and sure enough, your current amount of willpower will be enough. When the stakes are high enough and sure enough, your current amount of willpower will be enough. Most people watching right now want to lose some weight. They have struggled. They might still be struggling. They may be doing well and they want to get better at it. You've got to see, because why would I ever stop eating? Well, what's at stake? What's at stake if you just keep going and going and going? What makes you ever decide to stop eating? Hey, Roger. Roger, give us an update, man. How you doing? Hey, Lane. Football coach, aren't you? Cool. Charlene and Mitzi, good to see you guys. I hope it's okay with you guys for me to say hello to everybody as they join in. I just recognize a bunch of these names. Guys, I want you to get something tonight. I want you to get something that's going to make this time better for you, more fun for you. I realize that during this, you may not want to put additional pressure on yourself to learn and do and push and challenge yourself, but you do have a choice here. By the end of this quarantine, whether it's another week or 6 months, whatever it is, you get to choose what that's going to look like for you and what you're going to look like in the end of it. I remember in the 70s, we had a big snowstorm and we were out of school for over a month. Okay, that was a long time. When we have an ice storm, right, it may be for 3 days and you go over to your neighbors and somebody's got a fireplace and you figure out how you're going to cook. This ain't 3 days. If it was 3 days, then we just say, eat marshmallows, eat s'mores every day for 3 days. It ain't going to hurt nothing. But this ain't 3 days. This can affect us big time. We might want to play out, okay, well, how do we want to live this thing? It's kind of like if you were going on a cruise for a week, there's one way to live. But if you were going to live on the cruise ship for 20 years, you may want to adjust how this is going to be. You may not want to live like you're on a cruise for 20 years. What's that going to look like? Joe, I'm free to eat whatever I want, whenever I want it. I totally agree with that. You really are. But let's look at freedom. I think when we really get a better sense of what freedom really is, we do better. I had a buddy of mine. He lost 100 pounds and he was telling me his concerns for his dad. He said, Joe, I talked to my dad. I really want him to get this. He said, but when I talk to him and encourage him and I tell him, Dad, you can do it, you can do it. He says, son, thanks, but I really don't want to have to think about food all the time. I really don't want to have to think about food all the time. What's freedom here? What are your thoughts on freedom? I want to be able to eat whatever I want. Well, you can eat whatever you want. Are you happier the more you eat? Is that why you want to eat whatever you want? Are you happier? How's that working for you? If the more we eat, the happier we are, then wouldn't it stand to reason that the only really happy people weigh 500 pounds? You kind of need to be eating all the time. Guys, behind every self-destructive thing we do is a lie that we believe. The Apostle Paul said he was free. He said, everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Then he goes on to say, everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. When we think we're free to eat whatever we want, we also should ask the question, but is it mastering me? Because if it's mastering you, if your appetite masters you, then you're not really free, are you? Some people ask me, Joe, am I addicted? So it's good for us to get a glimpse of what addiction is. Addiction is a compulsive engagement in rewarding behavior despite adverse consequences. right? You can't quit. Compulsive engagement in rewarding behavior despite adverse consequences. Hey, Dan. Hey, Lisa. 64 pounds down. Way to go, Roger. Man, that's fantastic. I think Roger and Dan, y'all know each other, don't you? What are we addicted to? You know what most people are addicted to when it comes to food? Let's look at it this way. This cup represents you when you eat more than you should, so you're bigger than you should be, right? This next cup represents you at the right weight because you're eating what you should, and this little cup represents the excessive amount of food that you're eating. So it's these two cups put together equals the big cup, right? So this little cup is your excess that you eat. This is what we're addicted to. It's this excess, or it might be more accurate to say we're addicted to this feeling that this gives you. How much excess do you need? 0. How many cigarettes do you need? 0. You need excessive amounts of food as much as you need a cigarette. You with me? If you think you need this, you're believing a lie, which is what keeps you stuck. Well, no, you didn't need it. You're addicted to the feeling. Okay, it's really never the thing we're addicted to. It's the feeling that it gives us. You're not addicted to cigarettes. It's the feeling that the nicotine gives you, right? It's the stuff. It's the feeling. Sometimes the chains that prevent us from being free are more mental than physical. Guys, it's the way we think about it. It's the way we believe about it that gets us, isn't it? Is he stuck? If he believes he's stuck, he's stuck. He's believing a lie. Behind every self-destructive thing we do is a lie we believe. I'm stuck here. I got to stay here. I got to keep doing it this way. I really don't have a choice here. Yeah, you do. You're believing lies rather than truth. Well, Joel, how can I just believe differently? If this is the way I believe, it's the way I believe. Well, no. We're told to be transformed into a new person by changing the way we think. We wouldn't be told to do it if we couldn't do it. We can do it. Eating more does not solve our problems. But if you believe it does, then why would you stop? Karen's here. Good to see you, Karen. If you're physically hungry, it doesn't take very much food to deal with that. But if you're trying to solve an emotional issue with food, will you ever eat enough? No, you never will. You never will. So let's look at, we talked about the philosophical, the mindset part. If you get your mindset right, the other's going to come with it. But it can help if we know some basic practical things to do. So during specifically this quarantine, when a lot of us are mostly home, or we might be working real hard at a job, and thank you if you're able to work and you're out working and there's people around and you're risking for everybody else, I appreciate that. I pray you stay healthy. Speaking of healthy, let's look at some of the practical things here. Everybody know who this is? British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He was in ICU. Charlotte! He was in intensive care. I think he's doing better last I heard. I was listening to MSNBC, Brian Williams talk, and he had on Chief London correspondent Bill Neely, and they were giving an update. Bill Neely said there are no underlying health conditions with the Prime Minister. But he is overweight. I'm just reading word for word. But he is overweight. He likes to run and cycle. Good. But it is well known that people who are overweight and who have coronavirus are more susceptible to be taken into intensive care. Do you hear that? This is practical. You want to avoid being sicker than you need to be? Don't be overweight. The same as I would say, don't be a smoker. Smokers are more vulnerable. They're more likely to be put in intensive care. Who else? Overweight people. If you're obese, you're already essentially sick. It's as if you live in a room that's filled with smoke. You are at a disadvantage with lots of things. Blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, all kinds of cancer, joint pain, coronavirus being more dangerous to you. Guys, this is practical stuff. Data from Intensive Care National Audit and Research Center showed that 165 patients treated in critical care in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland since the end of February, 70% of the patients were obese or overweight. 70% of them. So this is practical stuff. Now let's look at the practical things to do so that you can get out of that category that is not where you want to be. Now some people will say, Joe, this just runs in my family. Runs in my family. Blood pressure runs in my family. Well, you are 50 pounds overweight. Diabetes runs in my family. Well, but you're 50 pounds overweight, or 40, or 30, or 20. What would happen if you did what you needed to do to get into a healthy weight range? What would happen to your blood pressure? Probably it would be normal. Not always, and I'm not saying that's always the case, but why don't you do your part and see what happens? So here's something that I would encourage you to do every day. I do it every day. My wife does it every day. We probably haven't missed a day that we were at home in the last 3 years. We drink about 16 glasses of water with a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in it. I would encourage everybody to do that. The water alone is good for you. Add the apple cider vinegar. Google the benefits of apple cider vinegar. You'll want to drink a lot of it. We just put a teaspoon in our water, stir it up, and we drink it every morning, about 16 ounces. I would encourage everybody to start your day that way. Or you can start it with a cigarette and a cup of coffee. I would encourage you, especially when we have a deadly plague going on, I would encourage you to eat one of these every morning. We typically have been eating one of these every morning at breakfast time, right after breakfast, between breakfast and lunch. Guys, the vitamin C you get from an orange. Now, this is a special orange here, but the vitamin C you get from this and the nutrients and the fiber is so much better than orange juice. You don't need to be drinking orange juice. You need to be eating an orange. And I would encourage you to go ahead and break the bank and get this one. This is called Sumo Citrus. It peels incredibly easy, and I've yet to have a bad one. So it's been very, very consistently delicious. Now, some people are going to say, I ain't going to spend $2 for an orange. Okay, don't. Get a whole bag for $3 of cheap oranges. But you spend $3 on a cup of coffee. Get over it. It's your mindset. When we look at things you do spend money on, you ought to be ashamed at saying you can't afford an expensive piece of fruit, especially when it suddenly has become a much more integral part of your day. Suddenly you're savoring this thing and it's helping you. Food, like your money, ought to be working for you. I don't care if you don't want. I know a lot of people are like, man, I'm on a budget. I ain't spending $2 for an orange. I know, but you spend it on coffee. Anyway, I don't care how cheap your oranges are. Get them as cheap as you want. But these are really, really good. Sumo Citrus. Y'all ever had one of those? Nikki, good to see you. About time. Dan, they are what? They're gone at Kroger. I know, they're going to really be gone now because we buy them and I get all you guys buying them. They can get any orange, but these are really good. And I almost wish I had told you because most of you listening are from close by and you're going to go buy all my Sumo Citrus oranges. Anyway, guys, one of the things you're getting in fresh fruits and vegetables that you really need is fiber. If you're not regular, you need to up your fiber. Probably everybody watching this would do well to double your fiber. Double your fiber. Guys, nobody out there is getting too much fiber. Okay? If you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, you might be getting enough. But I would encourage you, go get some of that Benefiber, and it just dissolves right in water, stir it in there, and have one of those as often as necessary. That's a regular thing for me if I ain't regular. If I am, I don't worry about it. If I'm not, I'm doing the Benefiber. And just stir it in water, it dissolves, it's great. You with me? All right. Somebody's offering a trade here. Beth said, I'll trade a roll of toilet paper for your Sumo orange. You got a deal. Yeah, we can barter stuff like that. Beth. Oh, now here's something. These are some things that I purchase. I used to get them locally, and they stopped carrying it at the vitamin shop, and I like getting stuff there. But these are two things that I get just on Amazon. This one's a Power Pack Electrolyte Stamina, 1,200 milligrams of vitamin C. This one is a Greens Pack, green food, superfruits, enzymes, probiotics, trace minerals. I think these both have pleasant tastes. This one in particular, it has this, how do you say it? Acai berry in it. Okay, now if you were looking at this, you're like, oh, Joe, you're getting into snake oil and hokey dokey stuff. These things don't do anything. If they don't do anything, that ain't a problem. Because that's kind of what you need. Don't do anything. Especially if it has calories in it. You don't need it. You guys, y'all eating too much. Drink something with 15 calories. I don't care what it has in it. I like these. I think they're good for you. We all could use the extra vitamin C. But when you're doing this, at least you ain't smoking a cigarette and eating a donut. That's the problem. Oh, it'd be fine if I could just say, don't do anything. Just go for a walk and drink some water. But you won't do that. And I don't like doing it either. I want something pleasing and pleasurable, so I pour this, had one today. Poured it in my shaker, shook it up. It's got clean water in it. I like the taste. It's giving me some vitamin C. It's 15 calories. And you didn't eat a donut. You guys, a lot of what makes this work is that you're no longer doing the things you used to do that were getting you into trouble. So sometimes if we just have a little something, nature abhors a vacuum. So you need a little something that's going to get you through. And I like these. I think this one is like if you've already had enough food for the day, I'm like, I probably could use some more nutrients. I'll do this guy. Okay? But this one I've been doing now, it tastes even better. It's kind of fruity, and it's got all that vitamin C in it. And I'm thinking, Corona! Get you some vitamin C! Fight it naturally if you can. Okay. Any questions on those? Deborah, good to see you. Beth, I'll trade her. Okay, yeah. Toilet paper. Everybody's loving your toilet paper trade there, Beth. Anybody else had any of these? These are good. You just pour it in there and you drink it up. All right, next. Walk. Guys, this is not necessarily a time for you to become a CrossFit fanatic if you weren't already one. If you were barely moving as it was and then were suddenly confined to the house, I would say just start walking. Begin walking. And if you're consistently walking and you want to add some jumping jacks or some push-ups, wonderful. But walk. There is no better exercise than walking, in my opinion, and many others' opinions. It is fantastic. Build up to where you can walk at least 20 minutes. And then build up to where you can do that twice a day. Particularly when you're just at home watching TV and eating ice cream, we need to walk. It's one of the most wonderful things you can do. When you're doing that or you're beyond that and you want to do more, then we work in some squats, we work in some push-ups, some jumping jacks. But you don't need to become Superman if before this thing hit, you were kind of a couch potato but worked a lot. Okay, we need to work into this gradually. One of the biggest mistakes people make with their exercise is they take it too fast. They weren't doing anything. They remembered what they could do in high school, and suddenly they're all in, and they hurt themselves. Guys, this is a lifestyle we're beginning to develop and work on here, right? All right. So walk. Just walk. That's all we're talking about. Just walking is wonderful. And we're getting ready to wrap this up, you guys. Next thing is close the kitchen. You know what makes this hard on ourselves? So many options. So many options. My own daughter, she said, Dad, it's not hard for me eating healthy, but it's way too easy to eat bad. Right? It's just so many options. What do I want? How much of it do I want? It's in the kitchen. It's right there. I can afford it. It's plentiful. It's everywhere. It's abundant. You know what one of the things that you can do to make this easier on yourself? Close the kitchen. At a certain time, when we do a 21-day transformation that you all can jump in next week, we're going to do one right here. When we do one of those, we stop eating at 7:30. And some people would be like, oh man, that's my favorite time to eat when I'm watching Netflix at 8:30, 10 o'clock at night. Okay, I get that. How much of this fun do you want to wear, right? You got to decide with what you like to eat, how much of that do you want to wear, do you want to carry with you? So we talked about this is the amount we should eat, but we're eating this too, so you're carrying around this extra baggage with you. It's unhealthy, and it's unnecessary. And when you start believing the truth, you will stop doing it. So to make it easier on yourself, close the kitchen. At a certain time, just say, I'm done eating. And then you don't have to think about it anymore. The way St. Augustine said it was like this. He said that for many, total abstinence is easier than perfect moderation. You're done. Give yourself a break. I don't need any more. I'm done eating. It's 7:30. Then when somebody offers you something, you don't have to think about it. You can give yourself a rest. Give it a break. No is only hard if yes is an option. When yes is no longer an option, you can just say, I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. Is this helpful for you all? Is challenging the way you're thinking helping you? I hope so. Guys, this is an opportunity to learn and grow. And however long it lasts, for you to be sharpening the axe a little bit. So once we're back to normal, you're ready to go. And you're not looking back. Do you really think if you just say, let it go, forget, I'm just going to wait and see, and you gain 15, 20 pounds, that you're going to be happy about that? Start with me. We're going to do a virtual 21-day transformation, and you guys are invited. We're going to start this Tuesday at 8 o'clock. If there's a session you can't be at, it's going to be recorded, and you can go back and watch it later. So you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to be busy at that time. That doesn't matter. You can watch it. We're going to record these for you, but it's only going to be available to people that sign up. We're going to do a closed Facebook group. We'll get you in it, but sign up for it now. We're listing how you can sign up for that right here in the comments. Just click on it. Sign up now. We're going to have a big group, a bunch of people doing a 21-day transformation together. It takes exactly 21 days. It's 3 weeks. We're going to meet 3 times a week live. If you can be there, great. If you can't, watch the recording on it. But live sessions are going to be, the first one's going to be this Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. The second one's going to be Saturday, I believe, at 8 o'clock p.m. And then Tuesdays. Let me double check the times on that. I think that's right. Deborah, correct me if I'm wrong on those dates. I know Tuesdays and Saturdays and Thursdays. Yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 o'clock. So sign up for that. We'd love to have you part of that. It's 21-day transformation. We walk you through this. We challenge you. We encourage you. We're community. We're doing it together. The average weight loss for somebody new doing this in 21 days, get this, it's 11 pounds. You'll probably lose 11 pounds. Wouldn't you like to lose 11 pounds? And we'll do it together. We encourage each other. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll love it. It's a virtual 21-day transformation. Was I right on those dates, Deborah? I believe I am. You can sign up here, raise your hand, give a shout. Dan's in. All right. Pretty sure on those dates. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Kathy, for your vote of confidence. It works. Kathy, jump in this group with us. Please tell your friends, share this, do a watch party. We want as many people as we can doing this together so that we can encourage each other, make some new friends, lose some weight, get healthy, and beat this thing as a team. God bless all y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll continue to respond to questions and comments that you have on here, and I hope to see all of you Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Sign up right now.